If you're looking for the best high chair currently on the market, then the Mockingbird wins by a landslide thanks to its moderate price, small footprint, and ease of cleaning. But if you're still curious about how it stacks up to top competitors like the Stokke Tripp Trapp, the Stokke Steps, or the Ergobaby, I'm gonna walk you through an in-detail look at each of those in this video. If you guys are new here, my name's Rachel from The Confused Mom. Welcome to my channel. I share baby and toddler product reviews, activities, as well as Montessori at-home tips. I'm getting over a cold, so if I seem breathless or like my face gets red, it's probably because I just went off camera to have a coughing spell and I came back on. In the description box below, I will leave links to shop everything as well as chapters to jump to any of the specific reviews if you're looking for one in particular. I've also done individual reviews on the Mockingbird, Ergobaby, and how the Ergobaby compares to the Stokke if you want to go back and check out any of those. So let's start with the Mockingbird versus the Stokke Steps high chair because they are the most similar. Historically, when people have asked me about Stokke high chairs, I typically say the Steps or the Nomi are the two I'd recommend. I always say avoid the Tripp Trapp at all costs. We'll talk a little bit about that in this video. However, given the price of the Mockingbird versus the Stokke Steps and the minimal differences, my book, the Mockingbird is going to win. Nearly $200 less, you can get the Mockingbird with a smaller footprint, exact same style adjustment of the footrest, and an easier to clean strap system. There are a few major differences between the Steps and the Mockingbird. The first is going to be that the Steps uses an adjustable backrest, while the Mockingbird uses an adjustable tray. I think possibly never having actually put my hands on the Steps that having an adjustable backrest may get you a better posture position for new eaters. However, I don't think it's going to be significant enough to justify a $200 price tag, especially because babies shouldn't be relying on the backrest anyway. It has a lot more to do with their footrest and being able to plant their feet to engage those lower abdominal muscles. And so the adjustable tray ends up solving, in my opinion, a bigger problem that parents run into for more time because that whole finding the perfect posture as a new eater lasts such a small window. But as baby grows, the gap between the seat and the high chair tray, or whatever this part of a high chair is called, it ends up becoming so small as babies get bigger. It's like trying to maneuver a sack of potatoes into a tiny little hole. It just becomes a headache. And so having the adjustable tray where you can slide it out, flip baby in, then slide the tray close to baby so they're not having to lean forward to reach their food, which would help with their posture. And it also minimizes that gap between baby and their tray so less food can fall in, less mess. I think will ultimately solve a much bigger problem that parents face. And then lastly, the Steps offers you the option to buy the Stokke baby bouncer and attach it onto their high chair so you can use it from birth before your baby is actually ready to eat. But I honestly think that's kind of just like a marketing gimmick. Part of the appeal of baby bouncers for us as a family, and I've reviewed both the Ergobaby and the Baby Bjorn, was the ability to bring a baby bouncer outside with me, to the beach with me, or like put it facing me while I watch TV at the end of the day and bouncing the baby with my feet. So having the baby all the way up here isn't the Stokke Steps, but you get the similar idea. I wouldn't bring this to the beach with me. As far as like bouncing baby with my feet while I'm watching TV, I would have to do it with my hand and my arm would get tired and I have the upper body strength of a kitten. So that would just be out for me. But yes, moving on to the Stokke Tripp Trapp. Obviously our Stokke Tripp Trapp is disassembled. I don't like this high chair. For myself and many of my friends, the Stokke Tripp Trapp brings up a lot of feelings. So basically it has been considered, I'd say, like the best high chair on the market for some reason for the last, I don't know, however many years. And so as a first time mom, it's the one I got. Assembly takes forever. You need to use an Allen key to do any sort of adjustment. So if you want to move the footrest down any of these pegs, you gotta go get your Allen key, unscrew this spot, unscrew here, like you're unscrewing stuff. Even this is the seat they sit on, and this kind of fits right into here. And I mean, I've even seen parents that went and bought these Stokke cushions to go on this high chair complain that you literally had to use tools to loosen the backrest in order to pull this up and take a cushion off, which I mean, if you're feeding your baby on top of a cushion, you're gonna have to wash that cushion a lot. So the whole design is just very cumbersome for parents. All these little spots for screws and all these little crevices for the footrest just means a lot more spots for food to get trapped and gunked up. But honestly, none of that's even the worst part of this high chair. It's the tray. First things first is that this material doesn't work with a lot of the suction cup plates and things. The second thing is this lattice design at the bottom. If you've ever fed a baby in a high chair, you know inevitably they put their hands underneath and start hitting their high chair tray up when they're done, which means a lot of little crevices for food to get trapped. Even if your baby never does that and you just rinse this into water, there's a lot of little crevices for water to pool and for mold to potentially grow. I mean, it's filthy. I find cleaning this thing to be one of the most annoying baby products that we've ever had. I have spoken to so many moms and ranted to so many moms about this, and the general consensus is very much in line with my beliefs, with a couple of exceptions. The Tripp Trapp high chair has been around forever. A lot of European families actually hand it down from generation to generation. A lot of you commented on my Ergobaby versus Stokke review that you guys are using the Tripp Trapp that was your partners from childhood. So the thing is durable. There's no question it's gonna last for years. And if you're being gifted it and it's an heirloom piece of baby furniture for your family, then I think it's fantastic. But I think in a lot of modern times, a lot of parents are looking for ease and quickness, and this high chair is not providing that anymore. Beyond that, this thing costs almost $200 more than this one, and every little thing is going to cost you. So in terms of being the most customizable high chair on the market, it comes in so many colors, it probably wins that, but I don't need customization when it comes to a high chair. I need something that I can get my baby in and out of easily. Little gap here, because this is about what it looks like when it's actually assembled, is not big enough to easily maneuver baby in and out once your baby is on that higher range. And that's been my experience and multiple other moms' experiences. I'm sure it's not every mom's experience though. I said in the past, the Mockingbird actually has the smallest footprint of any high chair currently on the market. And what I mean by that is both depth and width. The Mockingbird is skinnier than the Tripp Trapp, but technically the Tripp Trapp is that much shorter. It's like an inch and a half or half an inch. I don't have the foot extenders on the Tripp Trapp because that was the thing that we always kept tripping on, because having that extra 2 inches so imagine this going out to here, that's all that space. You're not thinking that there's a chair there, so you would trip on it a lot. Whereas this only goes out about an extra inch from where it is. The spatial awareness of it is more like close. Assembly on the Mockingbird takes about 10 minutes. With the Tripp Trapp, I end up using my power drill a lot of the time because adjustments would just take so long. The straps are obviously nylons, meaning food gets caked into them a lot easier. For both of the Stokke high chairs, all ship for free, but the Mockingbird gives you a 30-day in-home free trial, whereas the Stokke, I think it's only like 2 weeks, and then you have to pay for return shipping. Overall, I'd say, given how similar this is to the Steps, unless you really want a Stokke high chair, Mockingbird's gonna win. Okay, and then the Ergobaby compared to the Stokke. I'm including this comparison here just because I've done an in-depth review on the Ergobaby, and I feel like I've gotten a lot of questions since then that this is just a good time to address those further. These have a lot and very little in common all at the same time. Aesthetically, they both kind of follow that whole natural, neutral wood and white design. But the Ergobaby, and I made this abundantly clear in that review, has probably the largest footprint of any high chair on the market, and that's because it is a 3-in-1 design that allows you to convert it from chair to high chair to a toddler tower. And because of that toddler tower conversion, they needed a pretty wide base for stability and safety. Also on that front, bottom of the high chair kind of has this like slight grip to it, whereas you can slide this around with like the push of a finger. This, you're gonna be pushing, which sliding a baby up to a table with that, unless you get the bottom of those feet pretty dirty, is going to always require a little bit of force or effort on your end. I would say the Ergobaby high chair is definitely geared more towards older eaters, older toddlers, and it's gonna be a chair that you definitely get the longer lasting use out of, but it's definitely not the best pick for new eater. There's only 2 footrest levels for babies, meaning finding that optimal position where baby's feet are firmly planted and their core is easily engaged is probably going to be a much smaller window and work for a lot fewer babies over a much smaller period of time. What I suggested in that video is what I've seen feeding experts suggest, which is rolling up a hand towel, putting it at the base of baby's back, so that way it kind of engages the core and shows them how to sit. But again, if your baby's footrest is not optimal, that's always going to feel a little tricky. Now, I still love the Ergobaby because inevitably at some point in your child's eating experience, they are going to go through a phase where they protest the high chair, and using a toddler tower to stand at the kitchen counter and have meals was a saving grace for us. The Ergobaby comes with a tray liner that is compatible with a lot of suction plates. However, it sits more on top of the tray, whereas the Mockingbird's tray liner has the snap-on rounded edges, so baby's not gonna be able to lift that up on their own, and it means less cracks for food to fall in between. Assembly on both of these is pretty easy. For both of these chairs, once they're assembled, you do not need any tools to do any of the adjustments. I'd say my biggest complaint with the Ergobaby is that it just has so many awkwardly shaped pieces that if you have a small home or limited storage, storing those when not in use is kind of tricky. Whereas, so I'm not having to store the chair conversion. Like I have to store the separate chair conversion for the Ergobaby. I'd say as far as cleaning goes, the Mockingbird probably has the Ergobaby beat because of the one-of-a-kind silicone coated strap. Ergobabies are just your standard nylon strap. They suggest only spot cleaning those and not throwing them in the washing machine, whereas you can throw these ones into the dishwasher. Ultimately, I still think the Ergobaby is a great option for families that want to budget hack a high chair and a toddler tower for less, as long as you have the space to store all of the add-on pieces, as well as the footprint of the chair itself. One nice thing about the Ergobaby is that when it's not in use, you can fold it up, but a lot of families are not folding up and storing away their high chair. Now, if you don't care about having a toddler tower feature, the Mockingbird wins hands down. One nice thing about the Ergobaby, again, for older toddlers that I don't see in any of the other high chairs is the fact that the between the leg barrier is attached to the high chair tray and not the chair itself. So if you are a Montessori family focused on your child's independence, I love that they can get themselves in and out of this chair on their own. They can eventually learn how to do the buckle on their own, and they're not limited by this as kind of a barrier to doing so. So I'd say like the Ergobaby was definitely designed more with Montessori families in mind. They really focused on a very specific niche that happens to cater to me and my family. So it was the best high chair for us for sure, but I do think that this is gonna be the one most families love. Drop any questions you may have from that. Feel free to share your experience with any of these high chairs as well in the comments to help other families out. Like I said, be sure to go back, check out those individual reviews on the Mockingbird and Ergobaby. I'll also leave links to the Ergobaby Bouncer and Baby Bjorn Bouncer reviews in the description box below. And as always, my name's Rachel. Have a good one.